There you go. That's what we needed.
It's Mac.
Yeah. And Alexis. We in the building.
This is the Judge Us Not podcast, the courthouse of public opinion. And we got my boy Dame in the building. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's back behind. And got a guest.
She's back. She's back.
Pata Fria.
It's Pata Fria.
The half of dysfunction.
Yes, my other half wasn't feeling well. So I'm here.
So she's talking for two.
Yeah, I got it covered.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So let's jump into this.
Yeah, man. You've been waiting for this, Mac. Look at him grinning. Look at the smile on his face. Yeah. He been waiting for this shit right here. Go ahead.
I want to talk about not show business, but hoe business.
You couldn't wait to use that up.
He been holding that shit all night probably. Boy.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with it. It's fine. It's all good.
Y'all see how excited I am? No, I just kind of want to know your journey on it. Like, how did you get into it? Like, first of all, how old were you when you like started?
So I started, and then I had like an interruption, and then I restarted. So when I very first started, I'll say I was like 16, 17, and I started stripping in Vallejo at this little hood spot in Vallejo called Choi's.
Damn.
So if you know anybody like my age or like older, you know, they might remember that place. It was like ran by this ghetto ass Chinese lady, and she was hella cool, and it used to always be hella pimps in there, and it was just very rapping Fote video looking ish like in there. It was like that era.
I see the image.
Yeah, so just to paint the picture, and it wasn't nude, and they served alcohol. And then I also stripped at a place called JJ's that was on Travis Air Force Base. And that wasn't nude either. And I was also underage then, but like I did it with like, it was a group of us. It was like 3 friends, and we just started at the same time. And then I think they continued when I stopped, but I stopped when my relationship got serious with my partner at the time. And then we eventually got married. So,
was that like a request of his? Like, hey, you know?
I don't even remember if I told him right away that I was doing that, because I was doing other things too. Like I had 3 jobs at one point, like North Face, this company my mom was working for, another one in that same area. So I had like 3 legit jobs. I was stripping and I was selling dope.
Damn.
So like I've always when I say I'm a hustler, like I don't be trying to just sound cool or whatever, you know, like I really got it on my own since I was a very little kid. Like when I was like 8, I think I started, like, the neighbor had apple trees in his backyard, and I used to pick up the apples that would fall in the yard and collect and charge him like $40 a week. So I was getting paid, like, you know, working shit out at a young age. Yeah.
Why do you think that was or is like what gave you that? Was it
that
something,
hustle, that drive?
Was it something
it's not taught. It's just in me, and I get it from my dad 100%. My dad is somebody that like always had like a loaf of money in his pocket, but never had a job in his life ever. I don't think he's ever had a job, but like it's just in him, you know. And I know that's definitely where I got it from.
Yeah. That's true.
My criminal life came from him too. Like that's where all of that.
So that money came from somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
It don't come out the sky. That's for sure.
What introduced you to that life? Like, what brought you? What made you go into it?
I was kind of like, I don't want to say fast, because I didn't actually lose my virginity until I was like 18 or something, but I would like make out with guys and stuff and girls and stuff like that when I was like in middle school and high school. I just never went all the way, but like I was outside like from the time I was like 11 and 12. I didn't have any supervision, so there was nobody checking for me. So I'm like at whoever's house, you know, I was still going to school, but like on the weekends or during the summer or whatever, I'm like staying at a friend's house, and we're like out, like doing whatever, getting on BART at like, I remember 12 years old, like getting on BART to the city. Like a bunch, you know, it's weird. Like we kind of raised ourselves, and meeting guys and just being in the Bay Area, there's always been like a strong pimp and hoe culture anyway here. And like I've seen it growing up. my dad had hoes, like without going too deep into that. And so when I was in like later elementary school and middle school, like he was hiding that a lot less from me. There's times that he would like pick me up with hoes in the car, and like I saw the ugly side of that too. You know, like I that was when it started to get shown to me more. And I started putting things together, and I was like, we could damn near get our own money. We could figure it out. Like we started, I mean, crack sales kind of came first because the friends in the neighborhood that I was with, like we would all take Bart like to the city after school and, you know, do that and make money. And then I had my friends that I started dancing with, they were like maybe 2 or 3 years older than me. And they would always talk about it. I can't remember if they had did it before or if we all started at the same time, but I know they were a little bit older than me. One used to date a pimp, and like it was just talked about a lot. Like we had friends that stripped too, but I think they were in the city with it. But the opportunity came up. One of the 2 other girls had like lined it up with the club because we weren't 18 yet. Yeah. And so however they worked it, I was like, okay, what do we do? Like, so we went and bought outfits, and then they had us just go and like audition, but we ended up working that same night, and just, you know, like on the weekends we did that. But I still had jobs, you know, and like a bunch of other things going on. So I did that for like, you know, it wasn't like an everyday thing, but it was every week for sure, like at least 2 or 3 nights a week.
How was it? Like as far as
scary.
like yeah, scary.
Yeah, it was scary.
How was it money wise? Was it like, wow, damn, like did you start, or did it take some time to develop, you know, your skills, your demeanor to be able to pull the type of money?
So I've never been shy. So like I've always had a mouthpiece and been comfortable talking to whoever about whatever. And like, even though I'm very introverted now, back then, not so much. So, and I knew some people that were in the clubs, like some pimps that I knew from Richmond that were like older. Back then, I was like, you know, 16, 17. They were like probably 40. But like I knew them from the neighborhood. And I like one in particular, his name was Fuck 'em Up. And I met him in one of the, well, I saw him in one of the clubs. I knew him from around Richmond. And I was like, oh my God. And he was like, what are you doing here? And it just kind of worked out for me because I think he had bitches that worked there because he was in there with his friends all the time. And then he just started like looking out for me. And then one day when I was at the other club, I turned around and he was there too. But like he never tried to knock me or any of that. He really just looked out for me like on some big bro type shit. And it's crazy. Like me and Crystal, we met him at the same time, and we'd be looking back sometimes like, what the fuck were we doing? Like we were 14 and 15, like at this pimp's house. And like, you know, it was crazy, but like he never, you know, I had a big mouth and I talked a lot of shit. So nobody probably really wanted them problems to deal with me. But he never tried to like, you know, turn us out into hoeing or get me to like work for him or nothing. He just like I said, watched out for me in them clubs. And
what do you think that is? Because I've heard that a lot. You know, I think the common conception of whatever of a pimp is like they trying to knock everything moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but there are times where like, nah, I don't. You know, they see what is it that you think they see?
In me.
Yeah, what do you think
he might
is?
have. I had a big mouth, and I was like fighting people, and I think he saw a headache.
I don't want them problems.
He saw a headache in me, but he was very fucking fond of me, very fond of me. So like, I met him. I still remember the store I met him at in Richmond, and he got my number, and like, you know, we were just talking, and he was much older, so it wasn't like we were talking to date, but like I think he thought I was hella funny and like just saw something in me. Probably
like
saw
that little spark that you had, that little feistiness. Like,
Yeah,
this girl's a trip.
And
I fuck
funny.
with her.
Yeah.
Like I fuck with this.
And he saw me like try to fight people before, and I think he also probably had a feeling that we didn't have no fucking supervision either, because we were like going to his house and shit, and we didn't have to call no parents up or nothing. You know what I mean? We were just hanging out. So I don't know. He might have felt bad for us. I don't know. It's crazy because like years, fast forward hella years later, I actually met one of his kids, and one of his kids was dating my niece. She got murdered a few years ago, but it was one of his daughters. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. Like, I know your dad on a whole other fucking level, like from when I was a kid.
Small world.
Yeah, it's weird how that came full circle like that. But I did the dancing thing for a while, and dancing is a lot of work, and customers that come in, they will talk to you crazy, and they don't have no problem being like, oh, you ain't got no ass, or like, you know, they're very like, they don't care about hurting your fucking feelings, and it's a lot of work, and you're not guaranteed money when you know. So I always try to turn women off of stripping. I always try to be like, just hoe. You know what I mean? Like, don't strip, just hoe.
Fast forward through all that
and
shit.
then you know you're automatically guaranteed the money. That's decided already off top. So like, you know, I take my hats off to strippers that you know, do that work, because it's not for me.
So was that the transition? Was it just like, fuck this shit, it's too much work, let me just go?
Kind of. It was easier to sell dope. So like, I also had in high school, I had another friend that used to pay me to like keep and like bag up bundles for him, and I like kept it in my grandma's house, and he paid me for that, and he was paying me like a hella good amount. So it got to the point almost where like I wasn't very comfortable dancing anyway, and I was hella skinny then. I didn't have no body. I had boobs, but like that's it. And like I remember one time this dude came up to me at the one on Travis Air Force Base, and he was like, man, here, and he gave me like $150 or something, and I was like, oh, did you want to get a dance or something? And he was like, nah, just take it, like I just want you to have this. And I was like, damn, like he felt sorry for me. You know, because you know I'm like hella little and like young, and like I just stuck out.
Like, girl, go get you some turkey dinner or something. Go eat you some. Go get you a meal.
Go get you a sandwich. No, but like I was younger than all the people that worked there and shit. So you know, I definitely think he just felt sorry for me.
Hella funny. But put some meat on them bones, girl. Get up out of here. Yeah.
So when I started dating, who ended up being my husband, it was just like I never really needed to do it either. So like it was something I did because it was fun and it was with my friends, and like we went and did sexy photo shoots and shit, and I was all like fast in that way. Like
the lifestyle of it.
And so that was hella fun to me, but there wasn't really an economic need for it because I was making money hella other ways. So when my relationship got serious, then I quit that.
It was easy to let it go because it wasn't like your main. Yeah, gotcha.
And then I got married, so then I did you know, the whole square thing. I had a corporate job for like 7-8 years, made good money with that, bought a house, like did all that kind of conventional family stuff, had 2 kids, like very early, very, very fucking early in life. And so that's, you know, there was no sex work during that time. Then once I got a divorce, I lost my job shortly after, and I was like, I was very close to a cousin at the time that had been stripping for a while, and I was like, I might as well just jump back in. I know what it takes, and you know the ins and outs of that, so I'll just do that until I figure something else out. So then I started stripping again, but this time in the city.
So would you say the second time it was a little bit more financially driven?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Was a little bit more?
Yeah. It was totally different. That was nude. And it was, so I learned a lot too.
It's like you was grown now.
Yeah, it's like now you're a big girl. You know, you've got a little bit more body now. And I was still pretty skinny then, but I had, you know, started stripping. It was nude. There was no alcohol there. So it was like different club atmosphere altogether. What was good is I had my cousin with me at first, but I think she only worked at that club with me for a few weeks, and then she went back to like a club she had already been working at, also in the city. But you know, I made like a few friends, but like there's so much messiness in the strip clubs that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about. Like it's like high school. Like the girls will like piss in your work bag. They didn't do this to me, but they will like fuck up your clothes or like hide your shit, or you know, they're very try to fight you, try to take your customers.
There's a lot of competitiveness and shit.
Yeah, it's just hella messy. So like if you ever ask a stripper like, have they had to fight girls they work with, the answer's damn near always going to be yes, like a fist fight at work. And I came close a couple of times, but like I think they learned right away that like I'll kick the shit off like right now. So I didn't get like picked on or anything, but they tried me for sure when I went back to it, and I was just like, oh, like you bitches better, you know, realize real quick
Yeah,
where this will go.
Yeah, it's understandable. I mean, you look at women and just in general life, there's always that sense of competition, cattiness, jealousy.
But this is
Then
so
you
weird.
add
It's like next level.
Yeah, you add like your livelihood
Money,
in that mix.
yeah.
Oh,
and
man.
a lot of these bitches have pimps, so it's like
Extra
gotta come
motivation.
up
hell
with
yeah,
something.
hell yeah. It's
yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. But
I'd
like,
rather fight her than this man at the house.
I would say
you know?
dealing with bitches that you work with is probably the hardest part of the job. Honestly, I think that's the hard for me. I think that was the hardest part was dealing with the bitches.
So from stripping, what transitioned from like sex work and shit?
So
Like how did that transition happen? Like when did you hit that was just like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm gonna just start.
Okay, so I was stripping and I have really small feet and they're really pretty. And so usually strippers have like gnarly ass feet, like big knuckles, big toe because the shoes are really fucked up and they just beat the shit out your feet. Like it's really rough work on your feet. So, you know, I was like an adult, but like I had like these pretty ass feet, and they're hella small. So a couple of my customers that would come in regularly, they noticed right away, like, oh, you have pretty ass feet, blah, blah, blah. They started buying dances in the back just to like play with my feet and shit. But the thing about that, I mean, I liked it because they were coming in regularly to see me only when I'm working, shit like that. But I'm splitting the money with the club at the end of the night, you know? So it's like, I started being like, okay, I'm gonna start meeting with them outside the club because so then I keep all my fucking money. So once I got over like a fear of that, I was just like, fuck it. So
how is that looked on as far as in the industry? Like you busting moves outside of the club that you
that's standard.
it's standard.
That's
they
normal.
don't be like, hey man, there's not no like from the owners and all that.
I don't let them know. I'll be slick about it, how I give them my number or get theirs. But like, I mean, you don't want to let them know that, but that's standard.
Yeah,
all
I feel like
bitches do that.
Majority of like strippers or whatnot usually just do it to like get customers
Showcase
and shit.
themselves.
Yeah.
So that's what stripping is. Like people think that like the money that gets thrown is like what you're making for the night. That's not shit. Like I would scoop that up and give that to like the DJ and like the bouncers and shit. Like that's not really nothing. So you know, you get money thrown at you and shit, but the real money, that's just showcasing yourself, right? To like put on display what I want you to buy for the back. So then you're really the objective is to sell dances to go in the back and then you make real money. And then, you know, you get tipped on the side. You may not claim all the money to the club, all that type of shit. And most of the time you line up shit for outside the club. And most strippers, I'm going to say 80%, maybe higher, they're doing extras. So you can't tell me, like, there's some women that have shame about that and say like, oh, I've never done extras ever. And it's like at a club that's known for just that. So you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I get it. Like maybe you don't want everybody to know because being able to be open about what you do, it's really a privilege. Everybody doesn't have that privilege. Your family might disown you, all that kind of shit. So I get it. Like I try not to out anybody now, but I had a different mindset back then. But I used to just be like, I mean, tell the truth. Like y'all are hoeing too, whether it's hand jobs or whatever. Like there's a level of hoeing that goes on with stripping, and that's just what it is. So not everybody admits that though.
Yeah, and I think a lot because I've talked to quite a few, and it's so funny because especially when they get in the industry, oh, I ain't like that. I ain't got to do all that. I ain't gonna be one of them bitches. And you talk to them
That's
3
part
months,
of the job.
3 months later, they done got the pimp name tatted on them, this and that. When they were, they got sucked in. You know what I mean? Real quick.
Because if there's an opportunity to make more money, like you're gonna do it. You know, like I said, it's a lot of work. So if you have a way presented to you, like if you give me a fucking hand job with a condom on in this room secretly and tip security or whatever, and I'll give you $500, you're gonna fucking do it.
Yeah,
you were just out there dancing naked for everyone to see your asshole for like free, probably if they don't buy a dance. You know what I mean? So extras are being done. Even at the clubs that they say it's not allowed, they're being done. Yeah. But yeah, so I started the feet people that would come to see me, I would set up to see them at a hotel, like or their house outside of the club, and I just made up some hourly rate for a few hundred, and I did it, and I was fine with it, and it went really great. And then I was like, okay, so I started like telling them don't come to the club to see me no more. Just like book with me an appointment or whatever.
Was there like a sense of like let me throw this price out? Oh shit, you really gonna pay that? All right, fuck it.
I was shocked.
Now you're like, I ain't going back now. Like, there's no
I was
turning
shocked.
back now.
But see,
you know what I
I'm
mean?
a hustler too, so I have a mouthpiece. So I already had a whole spiel ready if they had something to say about the price, because I was gonna be like, look, I'm coming to your house. Like, it's always gonna be more if I'm coming to your house. Like, I had a whole explanation prepared, but I didn't get no pushback or anything.
Yeah.
No, they were with it. So I was like, okay, I must, you got to feel around too. Like, am I not charging enough? Or like, so eventually I just built my own little network of people that I was seeing outside the club. So then I started going to the club less and less. The club was still good to meet new people that I would see outside later, so it's like, I think that's what all strippers do, really, is
kind of use as the recruiting.
And I was just kind of
grounds.
learning that too from like friends that also were doing that and had been doing that longer than me. So there's also a lot of drugs in the club. So like I did partake in some stuff. Like, I was doing coke. I wasn't really drinking. I smoked cigarettes back then, but like I always tried to have coke on me because you could sell coke for like quadruple the price in the clubs.
True, yeah.
And even just with tricks in general, you can up the price to a crazy amount and they're going to pay it. And then they can't function to do anything sexual. So it's like, you want to give them as much coke as possible for top price. And then, they keep you longer because they're trying to get it up and do things and they can't. So it's a win-win.
Ain't that so funny? And then from a male's point of view, we like, oh man, she got the powder, she got this and that. But on your point of view, like, yeah, here you go. Like,
I got some fire. Yeah. So it's a win-win. But I always make sure they would have a good time because I want them to come back. So I never want nobody to feel robbed, even though I know what I'm doing. Like, I'm trying to get you to prolong this as long as possible.
You're getting the most for less.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Because from the male, how men, especially when they get to drinking, oh yeah, man, we got these bitches, we doing this. But then that girl's like, man, these dumb
We got y'all.
motherfuckers.
Yeah.
It's
We
like
got y'all,
two people
actually.
thinking,
But I'll let you think that. Yeah.
Exactly.
At what point did you feel like, at one point did you get into it? I guess what I'm trying to say, was it always about the money, or at some point did you just feel like I like doing this?
I was always fascinated with the lifestyle. Gotcha. At one point, it's really funny because like my cousins and even Crystal, we laugh about it now. When we were teenagers, the whole stroll was really rolling back then, like the 90s and shit. And there was bitches like on O'Farrell in San Francisco, like hella bitches walking up and down the street back then. And we had friends that had cars, and if we didn't have nothing to do, I'd be like, let's go see the hoes. And we would drive to San Francisco, and we would roll down the window and like yell shit to the hoes that are just trying to make their fucking money, like, and live their life. These little bitch kids are coming up and harassing them. But I know now it's because I was fascinated with all of it. So, yeah, it got to the point one time, she looked like Barbie, like she looked like a fucking Barbie. And she was saying something back to me and I was like, bitch, or something. I jumped out the car. That bitch maced me. Listen,
shit.
She maced me. I was just telling my kids this last night, not the whole story, but I told them I've been maced before. Yeah. And, I had on a shirt, and I know it got mostly on my shirt, but it felt like my skin was melting off my bones. Like we had to go, like a friend had a friend in the city and was like, let's just go there so you could rinse it off. And I remember just like soap and trying to get it off. And it felt like my skin was melting off my fucking bones. It was so bad. But I was like, you know what? She damn near deserved that one. Cause like I've been bothering this bitch all the time. Like
I got something for her.
Hell yeah. She sprayed me up good too. And I was just like, I deserve that one.
So were you like fascinated as like they lifestyle? Like what was fascinating?
I liked that they could dress up and be cute and get money. And like, I was just, I don't know, Bay Area culture, there's always been pimps and hoes around when I was growing up, like in Richmond and like everywhere. And so it's something I always saw. And like, even with a parent and, I don't know. There was just a fascinating. I was intrigued somehow.
Because what's interesting is that you looked at that like how little boys look at like D-boys and shit.
Yeah.
It's like what was that?
I looked at D-boys like that too, though,
So
because then I was doing both. Yeah.
But it's like what is that? What is that?
Just hustling and
I think an element
being
of
your own boss.
I was gonna say doing like not giving a fuck, especially for the host perspective. Like it takes a lot of confidence, a lot of everything to get out there and be half naked walking down the street. You're basically saying I don't give a fuck.
You don't give a fuck,
here
and you're getting your money. Exactly. So
especially
that whole
doing
attitude.
it with confidence, because you like even looking at the stroll, like you see some bitches that just be like, damn, you act like you're not even happy to do it. Like you just really forced to do this, but you see some that's like real confident, like I'm out here, I'm eating. You know what I'm saying?
Shit, I almost hit one the other day. I was going down international. I ain't gonna lie. I bent the corner and it's dark. You feel me? They right in the intersect, like walking like right in the middle of the street. Yeah, just standing there. I'm like, damn. I was like, who? And then I started looking up. Oh shit, they out here. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, they are.
And even as a grown
baby,
rain, sleet, or snow, they out there.
And even as a grown man, like probably some of the same feelings. I'm still like, oh boy, it's lit out here. I'm checking it out. I'm like, damn, that one tall. She like 6 something. You know what I mean? It definitely enlivened something in you.
It's the underworld.
Yeah, the underworld.
I've always had a fascination with the underworld. So like selling drugs, hoeing. I had friends that were gangbangers that put me in the dope game also. Being around them.
Web, don't you?
Yeah, I've always been, that's my space. Like I've always felt most comfortable in the underworld, you know? And
I try to get out of it though. I try to get out that cloud.
Yeah.
It's not as much judgment in that realm too, I would think.
It's just a lot of independence. It's a lot of people like me that were like running the streets at a young age and like kind of linking up with each other, and like it was cool, and you found like you felt safe with some people, and it's just it's just a whole lifestyle, I'd say. Just like a whole hustling lifestyle.
How would you say you transitioning to that affect your dating world?
So when I was like, okay, so I did the foot fetish shit, and then I was gonna tell you guys this part because it like was kind of important. A friend of mine that I knew from middle school, from like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, a friend, I think we like dated in 6th grade or something, but I mean, what was that? But anyway, he was a close friend, and we had lost track of each other for a while. I had reconnected with him, ran into him when I was working at the strip club in the city. I don't know if he was there looking for bitches or if he already had bitches there, but he was a pimp. He was a full-on pimp at that time. You know, not the same person that when we were in like middle school, you know? So, we were close back in the day. So when I told him what I was doing, he was like, man, get some real money. He was like, you're not getting no real money up in here. And it was true. I wasn't. And so he was like, whenever you're ready, if you want to make some real money, like I'll help you do it. And he's somebody that I trusted 100%, still do to this day. We're still like this. So, you know, I worked at the club or whatever. And then I want to say, maybe I gave him my number. I want to say he hit me like 2 times after that. And at first I was like, don't be trying to knock me. Like I'm not looking for a pimp, whatever. And then, you know, we talked just like as friends, like as we always have. And he was like, I don't need, you know, like I have bitches and shit. And he did. He had like 5 bitches at the time. And he was like, it's not that I need you. Like, you know, I'm trying to help you out. You know, at the time I had 2 kids. And so, and, you know, freshly divorced, I lost my house, like, you know, it was a bad time for me. And so he was like, I could really help you, and like, no bullshit. So we talked more, we like met up, and long story short, he put me in the game, in the whole game. And he really taught me so fucking much how to make money, sent me out of state, all the shit. And what he taught me, I still carry to this day. So like I owe so much to him. Like I always tell him that, like, I'm forever not indebted to you, but I'm forever grateful to you because you taught me how to survive on my own. I already had the hustle in me, but like he taught me game that like I wasn't going to learn on my own just from the experiences that I had, you know, like it's true. Sometimes you do got to really pay for some game. And so when he flew me out of state, I gave him some money then. And I want to say we kind of started dating. So it turned into, I'm really good at like flipping the script on people. So what I did was, I started keeping all the money I was making, but then I also started keeping the money his other girls was making that he was like sending me out of town with. But he liked me, so he like wanted to date me, so it was okay because he was like, you know, if we're gonna be together, like it's fine. But then I kind of drove that, like we nosedived a little bit. He didn't, but I did, and then like things got a little tricky. They ended up coming with me, and we all kind of left him alone after like maybe a year or so.
It was this game and took his bitches.
I did, but like he had a wife too. Like he had a baby mama or something, but they were like living together, very serious. I respected that. So I wasn't like really trying to date him, but like he's always been so close to me. Like he was in, you know, me and him were like this. So like I kind of led him to believe that it would be something else between us, but it really wasn't. And then I just kind of like weaseled off with some of his bitches a little bit.
Yeah, which you know what's so crazy?
He wasn't even mad.
Yeah,
he was like, "I'm not even mad."
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like that is part of the world. You can't be like, "Hey, that's me. Why you do that?"
Yeah.
Like, nah, bro. We out here pimping.
I thought we were friends.
Yeah, we out here
I
pimping.
felt bad
bro.
doing it though, but honestly,
Ain't that saying that there's no honor among thieves? Like,
yeah. He
there ain't
didn't
no
give a
rules to this
fuck.
shit.
Yeah, I had ran into him a few months later, and he was like, "Is Madison with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He didn't give a fuck. Like he really didn't care. He still had bitches, so you know, he just laughed it off, and like we still laugh.
What was the time frame from that? Was that years that went by? Was that months?
I was only like fucking with him like that for like a year, maybe a year. From the time we reconnected at the club to the time when I left with some bitches, like probably a year.
So you're a quick learner.
Yeah, very. But the thing about me, I'm dominant. I've told you guys that before. So like I'm good at like manipulating a situation to work for me. You know what I mean? So it's like I'll like flip, even in the nicest possible way, but like I'll flip it so it's working to my benefit, and that's kind of what I did with him. Yeah.
Good. That's definitely a good skill set, especially in that arena for sure.
Yeah.
You almost got to be that way, you know? Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Look at you, looking back over here, cooking up stuff. What you want to add?
Man, I'm just thinking. I'm just fascinated.
So I got a question.
I wanted to
My
hear this
story
shit.
is so long that
Yeah,
it's
I know,
hard
I
to like
know.
keep track of the timeline and shit. I'm trying to
I
like.
know it's been, you know, like, cause me asking about your past, like that's, you know, it's a lot to bring up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I'm an open book.
yeah, but that's kind of why I'm like just letting you go, because I know it's like a timeline, and it's just like I'm just trying to get like the details and what like led you there and all that.
Yeah,
shit, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Just trying to.
I'm interested in one thing,
Hmm.
just us both being parents, and what effect has it had like on your kids? As far as like, do you ever like, just for instance, do you ever have like thoughts or whatever? Like, man, my kids might think this of me. Like, how is that dynamic?
I'd never really been, I don't know why. I never really been worried about that because I'm so confident in the shit that I do that I don't carry any shame with it. So like when I started dancing, for instance, and when I started like hoeing and when I started doming and all that shit, like my grandparents knew. Even when I was 16, like I was living with them at the time, and like they seen the pictures for our flyers and shit. I had them like framed in my room because I was so proud. And she would come in and was like, "What is this for?" And I was like, "Oh, we're gonna like dance at this party." And she was like, "Well, you guys better be careful." And you know, I was always honest about everything, and like so I ain't never had nobody's checking me, so I ain't gotta hide shit, you know. So I've always been so confident in everything I do and like owning it that, you know. Of course, you know, you're not telling little ass kids like, "Oh, I'm a stripper" or whatever. I kept that from them until they were teenagers or something. I think we got more comfortable.
They got old enough to give a damn, I guess.
Did you notice a shift in their like attitude, demeanor, anything?
Never. Because whenever I had them, like when we got divorced, so it's my two older kids. They lived. I didn't want to separate them, so. For whatever reason, it was just best for them to stay with my ex-husband because he was going to try to take me to court. He had a better job than me at the time, shit like that. I didn't want child support to become an issue if I took them. And like we were fighting over so much shit. We had such a fucked up breakup because I left. And so, you know, he just was like trying to hurt me in any way he can. So I kind of feel like he was using the kids against me. Like trying to make it hard for me to have them equally and shit. So I was just trying to make shit as smooth as possible. So I let them live with him, and then I would get them on weekends and shit like that. But I just always kept my work life totally separate. I just told them, I was also hosting parties. I was also hosting like promoting a lot of parties in clubs in Oakland and shit back then. Like I've always had more than one hat all the time. So, I just told them that part of it. Like, so I'm working at the club.
Where do you get this money from? You had to lie to them. You just, they just do this.
Because I did do multiple things. Yeah. But
go ahead.
My ex-husband, he didn't like that I was stripping again.
That's
so he was hot.
I wanted to know what caused the breakup, I guess. Was it anything related to your work?
No, because I wasn't doing that anymore while we were together. I had a corporate job.
Personal shit that y'all
we just grew apart. We got married. We were together since we were like 17. And then we got married after a few years. And then like all together, we were together for like 9 years. And then, at a very early point in our life, we were still kids. And we grew apart. And, we started losing a lot of our fucking...
like you grew apart.
No, he did too. No, he did too. We just grew into two totally different people. We experienced a lot of trauma because a lot of the people, family and friends in our immediate circle started getting killed. And it was fucking with him bad. And like his sister was murdered. Like all of our friends, like I'm from North Richmond. So like it was funky back then. I mean, it is now too, but like there was a point where we were losing a friend like every month and every other month maybe. And just all of that was like starting to fuck with him really, really bad. And so he kind of stopped hustling and he got like a real job and, was growing as an adult and like doing really good. But then the killing still kept happening. And then he got into church. So when he got into church,
that's two different worlds. Yeah,
it went from one extreme to the other, and like I'm anti-religion. I have my own feelings about religion, but I still try to respect that for him because I knew why he was leaning on that. He was really trying to not snap, like with everybody getting killed around us, and
he was trying to find some sort of peace.
Yeah, definitely. And I saw that was like something positive for him. So I was like, definitely trying to encourage him with that shit like that, but I didn't want it for myself. So for a while I went with him and I was like, I'll support you, just, as his wife, I was going with him. And then, that wasn't enough. And then like the church that he was in, it turned it more into like a cult, honestly. And it started taking over his life. So, eventually he got to the point where he was putting the church before the household. Not a good look. So, that was like turning me off more and more because I'm like, this is not what I want for myself. Like I support it with you, but you're making it your whole fucking life. And now you don't want me to like get piercings and tattoos, or you don't want me to listen to rap no more. And like now you're trying to change who I am. Like I'm trying to respect who you are, and encourage all that in you, but like let me be me too. Yeah. And he was like not happy with it. So arguments started more and more. And then a few times he cheated on me. And so the last time he cheated on me, I was just like, that's my out, right there. I'm going to use that as the reason. When in reality, and I tried to explain it to him, we were growing apart before that. That's probably why the cheating happened, But when that finally happened, I was like, I'm out. Like, that's the reason. So I filed for divorce, moved out, all this shit. And he took it hard. So we had a really fucking hard breakup, and it was hard, like with the kids. Like he would tell them I'm a witch and shit, and like don't listen to nothing that I say when they come with me, and like it was just such a hard fucking time. And then but now we're hella close. Like now we're like best friends. It's crazy. It took us a long time to get here, but
that's so interesting how that happens.
Yeah,
I've heard that so many times. People want to kill each other 1 year, 5 years later
he cut up all my clothes, cut up my wedding dress, like went and threw it in front of my mom. Like
it's just because it's like you said, it's a different time. You had a different mindset. You know what I'm saying? So once you get older, you're like, damn, we was kind of fucked up towards each other, and it's like you can just completely. He
feels bad. He feels really bad now for like he always apologizes for how he. But I knew where it came from. Pain.
Like
Exactly.
Like I said about like how I used to be and shit. It's like I got to the point where I started apologizing and shit to people. It's because like you really look at it like, damn.
That's where he's at.
I was really fucked up.
Yeah, he really apologizes for shit that looking back now, like I shouldn't have handled shit that way.
And that's the same question as far as the kids go. How did your your family take it?
They knew I'm smart. My grandma, I always say my grandma knew I was really smart. So she would just be like, be safe or whatever. She knew I was like doing hella other shit too. And like the type of people I was hanging out with and the neighborhoods we were in and shit.
Was there anybody you looked up to that didn't approve of your lifestyle that you kind of felt like,
nope.
Damn, man,
nobody ever tried to talk me out of it. Nope.
I think that's a big piece of the puzzle right there. Cause a lot of people, you know, they would say like, hey man, don't do that. Or, you know, they would try to talk you out of it.
Also, I'm not the type that could be talked out of anything. So if they did want to, it wouldn't have went nowhere. We would have fought or something because,
what's your mind made up?
Yeah, I was real headstrong and just hard-headed about a lot of things back then. And I think they were just so happy that I was like taking care, because I started like buying my own school clothes at a very young age and hella shit and just kind of supporting myself really, because my mom left. So like I didn't have either parent in the house. And my grandparents didn't really want me there. So like there's all these layers.
Like, you can sleep here, motherfucker, but that's about it.
Exactly. So when I started going out, they were like, fine. Like we don't fucking want you here anyway.
We didn't sign up for this shit anyway.
Exactly. And
crazy.
It was pretty fucked up. I had a very fucked up childhood. But you know, it made me who I am. So like in hindsight, I wouldn't change anything.
I was going to ask you that too.
It made me a fucking beast.
Yeah, if you was to have a different road to walk, would you walk it?
When I was younger, I used to think, I wish I had it different. I wish I had my parents, all this shit. But now, absolutely not. Because like a lot of people come to me now for advice and they see how well I'm doing for myself and I don't need nobody for nothing. And, you know, a lot of people look up to me now, and it's all, I only am who I am because of what I've been through. Yeah, you know. So
it's crazy that you said, because I'm. It's like I get it, but I'm like the opposite. Like I tell myself all the time, like I wish. It's like I know it made me, but it's like I wouldn't want to experience the shit that I experienced growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like
I wouldn't want my kids to experience.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I had a choice, it's like fuck. I wouldn't want to deal with that shit. You feel me? But it's like. But you know that.
But if we didn't, we'd probably be like way less interesting.
I know, right? But that's what I'm saying. It's like I know that's what made me me. But it's just like, damn, like I went through some fucked up shit.
Yeah,
and it's just like I wouldn't wish that shit on nobody. But it's just like only the strong survive.
It's true.
Only the strong survive.
And I truly believe that the most interesting, creative people have been through trauma. Like people that grow up in good homes and shit, they're not interesting. You know, not to shame them or anything, but that's just how it always turns out. They're never the creative, interesting people. Like it's the ones that been through some shit.
Assembly line with them. It's just like, oh, you do this, and you go do this. Okay.
And those are usually the ones that end up followers, and they're following trends and all that shit while we're setting them. You know what I mean? Like it's
you either watching people live or you living. Like that's and you can even look at it in the culture now. Everybody's on their phone watching everybody live, and there's people that they're watching. Those people are doing the living. You know what I mean? It's just social media has definitely split that, you know what I mean? It made it apparent, like, okay, who is who?
And now with social media, it's like you getting compensated for it now. You feel like, oh, watch me. Let's my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's also bred like a different type of person too, though, because there's a lot of people now that have only lived online, and it's like, bitch, I was outside. Like, you know what I mean? From knee high, I was outside. So it's like, you know, there's a lot of people that have this like huge following and shit, and they're very popular and all that on the internet, but like have no real life experience outside of that, you know? So it's like, it's created that kind of, it's a different time for sure.
It's definitely different. That's, it's so weird because then you see some of these people and you talk to them in person, you're like, you can sense
they
that
can't
that
turn
lack,
it off sometimes.
Or you can sense that lack of experience, that life experience. Like
definitely.
You look this way.
I smell that out of people right away.
All day long.
I got a 2-part question. It's kind of like in the same line. Like I want to know the craziest shit that you done as like a worker, and what's the scariest situation you ever been in?
Okay.
Because I know they kind
of that craziest that could be subjective. One person think one thing crazy.
But that's kind of why it was like it was similar to the same thing, but it's just like crazy. It doesn't have to be like a fear though. You know what I'm saying? So
that's how I'm looking at it. So, all right, let me just start by saying, I'm very lucky in the sense that because most of my work has been dom work, and even when it was hoeing or whatever, I'm a dominant personality. So, and I'm a good judge of character. I go off vibes and energy, all that kind of shit. And I'm not afraid to turn down money. So with that, if I get a bad vibe, or if somebody I feel is like trying to be more dominant than me and they're not a submissive personality, I don't have no problem saying I'm not going to see you. If something feels weird or off, or like they might be trying to challenge me in any way, I don't want that kind of client. So I've always seen people that I can have the upper hand, if that makes sense. I talk to people first before we have the session, and I always feel them out and everything, find out what their experience is, like what they prefer to do, all that type of shit, the type of people they've seen. And I kind of establish that first. So with that being said, I don't really have scary stories of people like trying to play me or like trying to challenge me. You know what I mean? Like I have some friends though that have been slapped. I have some friends that have people that pull their hair and like all this shit. And I'm like, never in my life have I experienced that. And it's always because, I feel them out, and I'll only go with the people that are like not
that's dope.
Not dominant.
That filter system, man.
Yeah. I think I think you treat this shit like a real fucking business.
Yeah, for sure. Well, also because like I work for me, you know what I mean? Right. So it's like, even though I have plenty of friends I could call if some shit goes down, I have men in my life that I can call, I don't have somebody waiting outside for me in the car. Like when I go, so I have to make sure I feel safe and comfortable when I'm going to see this client. And if you sound like, you're like trying to be bossy or anything in any way, I'm not doing it, because I run this show. So
what's the craziest shit that you ever done to a client, I guess? What's the craziest shit that the client ever like wanted you to do to him?
Shit on a paper plate and let them eat it.
Damn. Question is, did you do it?
I did. And it was really hard to plan for that because like,
she's like, what am I going to eat?
You like eat different food?
Consistency?
How
does he want this to come out? Does he want it to come out like runny? Or does he...
Oh, shit.
Okay, let me just say this. I'm so uncomfortable.
Wow, bro.
I would just say this. I'm really uncomfortable with shit conversation. Like I
am too though. I ain't gonna lie.
I am too, but I'm interested.
Okay, so our last episode 137 on Hello Dysfunction, we touch on this topic a little bit about farting, and I'm like, shit. I don't play that shit. Like I will put my kids out the car. Like I don't play that shit on any level.
So let me ask you this, because I've gotten so much heat for this, because I'm the same way.
I'm psycho about a fart.
What? Because you see, I've been around women where they be like, ooh, man, I got to go shit, this and that.
Like in front of their...
Why would you say that?
Why would you say that in front of anybody?
Why would you tell me that? Or why would you say, like... What is in your mind?
Me and Crystal
you think
talked
that's
about
okay?
this. Listen, me and Crystal talked about this, and we have friends and we know people that have been like, it ain't really serious with your partner until y'all get comfortable enough to fart around each other. Excuse me?
Nah.
We're never going to be that comfortable.
I was with
my ex-husband for 9 years. I was with this man. He never knew me to shit ever. He calls me an alien. He's like, I've never known you to take a shit, and I've never known you to fart the entire time I've known you, even to this day, presently. And I'm like, that's how it's supposed to fucking be.
I need a high five on that shit.
That's how it is supposed to be.
Heat for that, for my opinion on that.
Yeah, I feel that though. I feel like, because my wife like that. Like,
with that being said, I don't mind if they do it. Guys I've dated, they'll take a shit and like be yelling at me from the bathroom saying something, or like they'll fart in the room when I'm in there. I'll talk shit because I don't appreciate that.
Come here, let me.
But for some reason, it doesn't bother me that much when a guy. I don't know if I like just expect guys to be gross, you know. So like I don't flip out, but like my friends or kids or like, man, my nieces, like one of them will fart in the car sometimes, and I'll be like, listen, I'll put you out. Like a friend of mine, I pulled the car over one time and I was like, girl, I'll let you out here. Like I don't play that shit on any fucking level. Like I'm not that kind of friend.
To me, it's kind of like, to me with that, it's a respect level to me. It's just like, why would you fart in my car? You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't.
I don't want to breathe that.
Yeah.
What are you fucking doing?
Like it's disrespectful. You know
You don't ever be that comfortable around me.
Is that too? So I've had more conversations that I would like to say about this.
Yeah.
And it's because women be like, man, it's natural. What do you think? Because we don't do that. Because we do. Because we're women. We can't. We don't. I'm like, I understand it's natural and it's a thing that happens, but that is not something we need to talk about. As me as a man and you as a woman, you should want me to look at you, or I not even what you should, but I want to look at you as just just beautiful things, you know,
and
what I
not
mean?
shitting,
and not
yeah.
shitting.
How about that?
So when we doing our thing, I don't
Yeah.
want to be thinking like, oh,
Like,
she
did
just
she shit earlier?
She shit like 3 hours before.
earlier,
I remember
like-
she did. You know what I mean? I don't want that in my mind.
I know she did.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely not. And
So
I
it's
wish
like-
I wish
feel
Crystal
like, though,
was
'cause
here
you
for
would
this
have-
She's on the other
conversation.
side of it.
She's the same way we are.
Okay,
Listen to me.
okay,
When
okay.
she has to use the bathroom, let's just say one day she has to use the bathroom, she will go in her room and lock all the doors to her room. No one is coming anywhere near the room. No one's going to know it's even happening. Her kids are not going to know. Her husband is not going to know. No one is going. Me and her are very the same when it comes to that. And it's like she's explained it before. Like, I never want my husband to think about me shitting.
Exactly.
Like, you know, and he shouldn't. Right. Exactly.
Because like, what's the point? Why would you? It don't need to get brought up.
No,
There's
that's
no
just
reason.
not something.
If you got a medical condition or something, okay.
Even that, just kill me. Just fucking kill me. A shit bag, a colostomy bag, kill me.
Are we
Just kill
skipping?
me.
Are we skipping on the shit on the plate conversation?
Oh. How I got there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because what I
So-
want, since you so bothered by it, I want to know how
it was hard.
Yeah,
it was hard. It was hard, and it
how
was
did-
$5,000. It was hard. But
like, was you like gagging and shit? I want to know.
no,
like,
no, my own no,
Yeah, yeah.
no.
I'm
Also,
not with-
because
not-
I'm a parent and that kind of thing, like I do, and
but
I
not
do
with your
strap
shit. I'm
on.
just talking about like watching them eat it. Or was you like?
I just didn't really focus. I just didn't really like concentrate on them. I was like looking
I
around
gotta
the
meet
room.
that motherfucker.
Yeah. So when you do that kind of work, you have to train yourself kind of, because like one thing I do a lot is golden showers, and like when I first started doing that, I pissed a few people off because I couldn't do it. Like I was naked standing over them trying to piss, turning the water on, hella shit, could not do it. Like your body knows it's not supposed to do that. You get like stage fright.
And they getting so built up, like,
And
oh,
they're
it's about
so
to happen.
anticipation.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's going
man.
on? Come on.
Oh, I pissed so many people off with that shit. And then I'm like, I'm not giving you no money back because I really tried and I was naked, so you're not getting no money back.
Yeah.
But
fucked up.
it is. But hey, I don't care. I truly, sincerely tried, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, I've had people pissed. But like now I could pee on anybody. But like
She's
it
like,
took
I
me a
got
long,
it.
yeah, I got aim and everything.
Now, that's on anybody.
It took me a long time to teach myself to do that though. Shitting is a million times worse. And especially for somebody, I mean, I don't care about sharing this with y'all, but like I'm not a really regular person, I'll say. So like I can't plan for something like that. You know what I mean? So like I would have to take like a supplement, like a laxative or something, and then just kind of I've only done it once. And the way I did it was I had him like get a room and sit there all day until I felt like I could. And then I showed up. So like this was like an all day ordeal.
sound
Like,
good,
yeah. Cause you know, some people, they're like, girl, please, I could have took something and went, well then check this out. I'll line it up.
Could have drank me a coffee. I'd have been ready in 30 minutes.
That doesn't happen to me. There's nothing that I can eat. I'm not lactose intolerant.
Really?
I'm not, coffee don't do that to me. There's no food or anything I can eat that can make me go to the bathroom.
Really? That's
Yeah. So
interesting.
it's like, and I've been like that since I was a kid. So it's like, I'm like the worst person to hire for that.
do that.
But
I'll try it though.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
be willing to wait.
But this person, by that time, they were a regular. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, okay, I'm comfortable having you sit like a little fucking dog in that room and wait
This
for me.
motherfucker
You know,
just ate your shit.
Yeah.
on all fours, on a paper plate,
Did
on the
he eat
floor.
all of it?
I don't want to go into
Yeah,
details
yeah,
because,
yeah.
like, what?
I'm like, this motherfucker.
He kept it. I'll just say that he kept it.
For the most
I'm
part,
gonna
I
keep
mean,
this for later.
Yeah.
there's no good way of eating shit. So even if it was your shit, it's still weird. But to eat,
Yeah.
you're eating somebody else's shit, and you
But
just
there's something, you know, I feel like that's pretty not common, but
It is.
it's a lot of people
Let me
doing
say
that. It's a
this.
psychological thing.
Every place I've ever traveled in the United States, because I've never been out the country, but every state I've ever worked in, I get the most calls for that. And it's because there's a huge fucking market for it, and a lot of women can't deliver because either their body, like they can't do it, or they're grossed out from the idea or whatever. So it's a very sought after service.
Do you have to be naked to do it?
No.
I'm about to look, man.
Well,
I'm regular as a motherfucker, so I could be getting what you said, 5 bands. I'll make me at least 20 bands a day.
I've had people call me. I've had people when I'm out of town and shit call me and be like, "Name your price. Like, I'll give you 10,000. I'll send you 5 now. I'll give you 5 when I get there." And they're like, or if that's not enough, like, name your price. Like, it's so highly sought after. I'm constantly looking for a bitch who can do it. Because we're gonna make money.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna be great.
Shit.
Yeah.
I'll be your bitch.
I'm about to say, bro. I'll shit, bro. Man, what you talking?
I can't shit like that.
Shit, you got me rethinking my whole career plan.
Saying,
like,
yeah. If I can find
shit.
someone that can do that, like, yeah.
We'll talk after the show. We'll talk. We're gonna put this shit together. Fuck the bullshit.
Yeah, no, but there's a whole community of people that are into brown showers, and it's everywhere. It's worldwide. Like, that's a huge.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think
huge
it's.
kink.
I don't really think it's like weird, I guess you could say. Like, I think I know they're out there. You feel me?
Yeah.
I just think it's crazy, like, to just be like, damn, motherfucker, you really like,
how did we get here?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how did we get here? We're doing this right now.
Yeah,
but
it's just extreme. To me, that's extreme fetish. You know, like, it's one of the more.
I think you get to that though when, especially like if you fucking a lot, you deal with a lot of women. It's like, this ain't turning me on no more. Like, I need something.
Usually, so people that I see that want like certain kinks that other people would find strange, they always feel the need, like, there's a level of shame, so they always feel the need to over explain to me, like, how they got here, like, how did this start, what, you know what I mean? And I always be like, I don't judge, like, I honestly, and I truly don't, I don't judge anybody, but they always want to give me some backstory. So, like, with feet fetishes, a lot of times something happened in someone's childhood. They had a hot babysitter that was always barefoot or something, and, you know, they'll tell me this whole story, and then it brings them back to those feelings whenever they're around a foot now or whatever. So, like, it usually something in their life triggers that. Sometimes it's abuse.
It was
sometimes
I was telling Al about that and Dame about this shit, that there was like a scientific reason why majority of people have foot fetishes
because of
like,
the position of where the brain. I watched that.
And I was like, that's crazy as fuck.
Yeah, I saw a little video about that, and I was like, that could make sense. But I've had a lot of people tell me about childhood experiences with people they were attracted to in their feet.
A lot of the sexual stuff is what they say is kind of geared towards a lot of the childhood.
Rooted in
sure,
childhood, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What I was about to say. Fuck,
He's still on that. He's still picturing.
No. I'm over that. I was going to ask you something else.
I'm still on this 5, man. I need
retarded, bro.
I feel like we were about to explain something.
No, I was just going to say, like, I would like to hear somebody tell me how they got there. You know what I'm saying? But I think in the way that you're coming from is like they do it to try to like justify why they're doing it. But if they
feel
just,
embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's one thing just like, hey, let me tell you how I got here. But it's another thing like, well, I only like this because, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I feel that.
My thing, I think I do so well in this kind of work because I don't make anybody feel embarrassed. I make them feel so at ease and relaxed with whatever, even if it's not my thing. Like, I make them feel so comfortable with what they like. They come back. You know what I mean? I have clients that I've been seeing for like 12 years, like, that are still in my life, very close, check in with me all the time. And it's truly, it's not an act. For me, it's not an act. I'm not just trying to make them feel comfortable for money. I truly do not judge. And it's because I have a lot of weird fantasies or unusual fantasies and things myself. So, you know, I don't judge.
You're always open to like.
To anything. Yeah, anything. Yeah. And, you know, I understand the psychology behind all of it. Like, some people, they keep leveling up and up and up because they're so tired of regular fucking, or they're so tired of like the vanilla shit. So they have to keep going after something taboo because that shock excites them, you know, like they have to feel that shock to get off. Like there's so many layers in that too. Like, it's just,
that's what's crazy about like, being pleasure or even like, just sexual. Like it's not, it may not always be sexual for it to be sexual. You know
eventually, like, what excites you will get exhausted, and then you gotta, you know,
you gotta find something else that excites you. Yeah,
take it up a notch.
Raise the bar.
I think this.
That's pretty good.
I think we should close the case. I think I want to close the case with asking you: Do you ever see yourself stop doing this?
No, and I'll tell you why. This is one form of sex work that you never age out of. So like, there's never going to be a point where I'm too old to do this. Some of the most successful, popular dominatrixes in the world are like really old, mean, huge women, intimidating, large, old women. Like, you know, authoritative.
That's
like
pretty dope. I never thought about it like that.
So I won't age out of this business. I'm also a naturally dominant person. It's not an act for money, you know. So like when I'm old and wrinkled, or if I get hella fat or something, like I'll still be, I could still be just as successful and still be, you know, booked just as much, if not more.
Got you. Is there a big market for like male doms?
There are in the fetish community, like with just lifestyle doms, but like for like pro doms that charge, I don't know. I think there are for men and men, but I don't know about the men and women.
I doubt it.
You got my mind ready. I don't know if I can do that.
I doubt it if it's for men and women, because I mean, I feel like men are naturally like that, like dealing with women in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I don't think a woman will pay for that shit when they can get.
Would you guys like? I always try to like find out if guys would be cool with this. Like, would you fuck around with a girl?
That's another topic.
Another topic?
That's another topic. That's another.
You want
episode.
Another whole episode on that?
You want me to wait? I was just gonna say, would you like? Because like I have subs that want to be in the room while like I do something with another guy, or like, would you, if you were propositioned for that with money, you know, like would you be able to perform in front of like a sub on the floor, like a chained up like a dog or something?
Hold on, break that down real quick.
She basically saying if
put it in terms, like say you're working with a client, you would want me to be there to watch?
So, okay, subs are not allowed to like fuck us or anything, right? It's not like sexual like that. So like as a treat, sometimes I might sell like a video clip, for example, to a sub of me being pleasured or something. Take it up a notch if they deserve to be rewarded and they have a lot of money to offer me and like a guy friend or whatever, or a girl, to sit on the floor like chained up and like witness, and like not necessarily, sometimes I'll let them pleasure themselves and sometimes I won't, but like in the corner of the room, would you still be able, because some guys are okay with it, some guys are okay when money is introduced, like it's, you know, and some guys just aren't altogether, like they don't even want to be in the same room with people.
While people are having sex?
No. You like, y'all would be the ones having sex, but the sub would be like watching. Like you're putting on a show almost. You're letting him watch you. You're being an exhibitionist.
Oh, it's some money. And he's...
Don't answer it.
We'll save it. All right, we'll save it for the next one. I'm
the only reason why I don't, because I can see how this is going to.
It'll branch off.
Yeah,
okay.
It's I like it. We'll go get into that. But hit the gavel on this one.
Man,
we're gonna end this one off with $5,000 shits.
Thank you for one of the episodes. Thank you for one of the episodes we got for you, Pata Fria, and we appreciate your testimony. Yeah. And we didn't mean to put you on trial today. We just
it's all good.
Well, we did, but
I'm guilty.
We had to serve her. She didn't know it.
Hey, she said she wasn't giving no game, but she gave me some game. I'm about to go do my homework.
His wheels are turning.
Yeah, I'm like, huh.
So yeah, case closed. Baby.
Case closed. Appreciate it.